There was no Momiji there. Okay. What if Hina shows up in this game? What if she shows up in this game? Then what? What would streamer do? Nothing really. Alright, let's continue. So, does everybody remember the plot of what happened from a few days ago? Let me give you the rundown. So the plot was Marissa entered a magic show to win an egg cracker thingy for Renosuke, because Renosuke promised to pay her all of her bail. So then, just after proving Yomu's trick, exposing the trick behind Yomu's magic, turns out Iku has been stabbed by the supposed egg god. And well, here we are. There's your recap. I don't know either. I don't know what it means either. But we're gonna ride it right now. Hold on, I need to plug my phone in because it's dying Squirtle. So if you hear a Windows noise, you know why. There you go. Alright. You ready, chat? You ready? No? Too late. Even then, I thought I'd search around, but where to begin? For the time being, we should see if we find any witnesses and thoroughly hear out their story. Guess that's all there is to it, in the end. By the way, Marissa, I hope you haven't forgotten. About what? You will only get your bail money if you can secure the egg separator. Read the room, why don't you? Do you really think we should be caring about that kind of stuff now? However, a promise is a promise. There's been a murder! Obviously the tourney's cancelled. None of that is any of my concern. This guy's such a lowlife. Fine, if I gotta, I guess I can also ask around for that egg thingy. Alright. So yeah, chat, I'm kind of busy. This week. Just so you know. Obviously I'm not streaming on Wednesday, but I'm going over... I don't know if Christian's talked about it yet, but I'm going over his place on Wednesday. We're doing a stream. I don't want to say what unless he's already like talked about it, but I'll be on his stream on Wednesday. We'll be playing some video games. But that's my day off anyway, so it's fine. It's fine. But I won't be here Saturday. I won't be streaming Sunday. And then probably next week, we'll do another stream of those meme videos because those are fun. That was fun. This here is my bestseller. I don't know anyone against Soki who hasn't heard of it. Guess you don't have very many people then. You don't know very many people. Ha! Every household in the land has a copy of this book. It's true, one time I had to go to the toilet at Rainbow Shrine. I saw it in there instead of paper. Yeah, I thought that would shut him up good. I see, yes. Are these truly Miko's footprints? Why don't you ask Notori? She can set you straight. No, I am not doubting her work. I simply can't believe it. That's weird. You'll usually believe anything you hear. What was that? What did you expect me to have to say about this? Nothing special. Then why did you thrust it in my face? I thought maybe you might know something since you're so smart. Guess I overestimated you. Wait! It isn't that I do not know anything about this. If you must know, I have been called a walking dictionary in the past. The dictionary has only ever been useful to me as pillows. Why, you? Check it. What did you expect me to have to say about this? Okay. Okay. Yeah, so that's the play. I got a busy week, chat. I finished One Punch Man. I'm done Mob Psycho. I'm gonna start reading One Punch Man at some point. But I have to get back to work on that video. But the current one chat that I just put up yesterday, it's doing pretty well. By my standards, of course, it's doing pretty well. And I've set the idea for the next thumbnail to RKD as well, so he's working on that. And we're aiming for a couple weekly releases because of the video stockpile I'm sitting on. So we'll see how well that turns out. But more videos on the way. More videos are on the way. I got a lot of videos done the last couple months. Why do my problems gonna keep piling up? Yelling at me will not do any good. The mysteries are just multiplying. Once I find that killer, I'm gonna knock her out in one blow. Do you mean Miko? Yeah, you got that right. However, could she truly be a murderer? Weren't you the first to say she was? Well, it is true I may have gotten caught up in the moment back there, but still, such a lovely, charming woman. Wait, don't tell me. You got a thing for her? What are you talking about? I mean, that's how it looks to me. Good grief, if you're gonna talk nonsense, then I'll gladly knock some sense back into you. It doesn't matter to me either way, you know. At any rate, what happened with her magic trick was rather unfortunate. She ain't as slick as she acts, after all. But could anyone actually make such an embarrassing mistake during a stage performance? Maybe not, although in your case... Hey, what is that supposed to mean? Can't say I ain't a bit curious, but does it have anything to do with the murder? Miko's magic trick. At the time of the incident occurred, Miko was performing her magic trick on the stage, but she messed it up. Alright, let's get exploring. It's like nails on a chalkboard to my ears. Such a familiar sensation. Oh, it's you two. What you doing here? As you can see, we're not doing anything. The stage is just gone, so there's nothing for us to do. So you're just hanging out? In short, they're bored. I'm not expecting much here, but I should still ask them some questions. I wasn't expecting these two to be like, you know. Can you tell me how the stage broke in detail? I don't really have any details for you. It was really sudden. It just sort of happened in a flash. So you got no idea what did it? Nope, not in the least. It all went down a couple minutes after you bunch cleared off the stage. Yeah, it sure was something. Thought I was gonna get dragged down with it into the river for a moment there. Oh god, it's this song again. Dragged down to the river. Could something like that even happen? Don't the Kappa do that? The egg separator. By the way, what happened with that egg separator thingy? It washed away with everything else that got left on the stage. By now, it's probably somewhere downstream, I guess. I see. It's supposed to be valuable, so we got told to keep an eye on it. But with the whole stage collapsing, there was nothing doing. Well, that's no surprise. That's what it looks like. The prize that was to be awarded to the victor of the stage magic tournament. As of writing, it seems to have washed away the show stage downstream. It looks goofy as... It looks so goofy. Part of this music reminds me of Pikmin. Still, isn't that kind of thing besides the point now? Guess you're right. It's just bothering me a bit, that's all. According to Iku, that thing was the focus of this curse. If it's so important, you could go fishing around the river. Guess so. I'll give it a shot. I can't really think of anything. Me neither. I see. Oh, short, sweet, and to the point. Wish I could do something about my proportions. The others would always make fun of me for being small. I know that feeling real well. The hell are you talking about? You're not as small as I am. No, even then. I want to be as tall as Yugi at least. Oh, come on. Yugi's like the tallest character. Wait, that's what you were talking about? But you can just do that yourself. Remember, chat. Remember, Suika can do this. Hold on. Hold on, I'm sure I have an image somewhere in here. Yeah, okay. Look. Here's Suika, okay? Here's Suika. She can just do this. Whoa, holy shit, look how tall she is now. Crazy, isn't it? Crazy! Elvis has left the building. Okay. Alright, get that out of here. I don't got time for bits. Bits are for noobs. Okay. Hold on, now I have to fix everything. Alright. By the way, Yugi, are you actually wearing bloomers under there? I won't ever tell. What? So stingy. What are these two talking about now? I can't really think of anything. Me neither. I see. Okay. She's a good one. She makes great tea. Her cookies are also the best. I wasn't asking about the stuff she gifts ya. Kappa are clever and good with their hands, so they make fine minions. Back in the day, they came in handy a lot. Yeah, I remember. The fully automated sake pouring machines, those were real convenient. Just pour the stuff by hand. You don't understand. Can't really think of anything. Nope. It is my duty to present every profile. Every profile must be presented. Iku Aya. Me and her had a tussle once, back when the Celestial ran rampant. Hard to believe she ended up like this. Makes you realize you can't ever know what life's gonna hit you with. Life, huh? Yeah, life comes at you like a spear to the chest, doesn't it? Seems like she's gotten used to being a toady by now. As far as Tengu goes, she's one of the few good ones, so I worry for her a bit. I'm pretty sure everybody feels the same way. Everybody loves Momiji. I don't think she's a bad person, even if she's annoying sometimes. Yeah, she's decent enough, even if she's annoying sometimes. So we can all agree she's annoying. Correct. I can't really think of anything. Alright, I don't know if I'm gonna get any information on... Whoa, so it was true after all. That criminal's gone and done something pretty messed up. And that's why I've gotta find him as soon as possible. So you have somebody in your sights? Well, we've got a hunch. That's so. Then even if we just keep sitting around here, everything's gonna be fine. I mean, you could still try to help. Alright, thanks, champ. See you later. Whoa. Alright, we're going fishing. Thank you, Nico Kako. Did I say that right? First try? I hope I did. Thank you for this first time sub. By the way, chat, that sub number, let me just pop it up for you real quick. Oh, sorry, that was Hina. That's at 178. It's pretty good. Just 22 more, and I have to do whatever I put for 200 subs. I don't remember what that is, though. I actually don't remember what that was. Which one was that? What one was for 200? Lolk. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus, that. Okay. Alright, I understand. Oi, Corden, check this out. That must be wreckage from the stage. Looks like it's all gathered up at the shallow part here. Oh, there's two more. Wait, that's not two. What the fuck? A message got in the middle of that. Okay, it's 5. Thank you, me, for the 5 gifted. Unfortunately, no matter how much you pay me, I can't P-rank everything. Meets its hour. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. It's too much for me. I can't do it. I would need a life-changing amount of money. For now, let's see if there's still anything to be found. Ooh. Ooh. Insane music. That is one awful mess. The works of man and yokai are fleeting indeed. What's this thing? Looks like an enormous shishi odoshi. Those tubes that fill up in the water and go bonk. The wealthy put in their gardens. Bonk. I know what a shishi odoshi is, thank you very much. But who'd ever make this one? This one this big? Well, if this isn't shishi odoshi, what is it then? Looks more like something for eating flowing noodles to me. Ah, look here, some of this junk is stuck onto the shishi odoshi. And this is just a lump of metal. Whatever it is, there's quite a bit of weight to it. What would anyone make a thing like that for? Something we found mixed in with the remains of the stage downstream. It's strangely huge. A piece of metal is bolted to one side. There's something else tied to that shishi odoshi. Some sort of fiber thread, very strong and thin enough to be nearly invisible. Ah, but our resident magician already knows all about that sort of thing. I'm telling you, that stuff about being invisible is false advertising. Alice could see it just fine. That's because you were so blatant about it. Only poor craftsmen blame their tools. Anyways, get over here. That string's still tied to something else. And this is... what exactly? Some kind of wedge. Or that's what it looks like to me. The mystery deepens more and more. You just don't want to try thinking about it. Something we found mixed up in the in the remains of the stage downstream. The string is tied to something like a wedge, and the other end is tied to the Shishio-doshi. Oh god, what is this Rube Goldberg-ass murder machine? Ah, Marissa, over here. Aren't those the boxes Miko used in her magic trick? Come to think of it, they all got left on stage, so they washed up here too. Though they've been completely crushed. Hold on. There's still something in this box. This is... it's a spear. The one we watched Miko put in the box, I'm sure. So the spear was still in the box. What's up with that? It was supposed to have disappeared. That's a spear? The spear Miko used in her magic trick, found in the remains of one of her boxes downstream. The blade of the spear is shaped like a sword. I see, I see. Still, is that really what I should be thinking about now? But in the end, we could not find that egg separator. If it got swept even further downstream, it's probably lost for good. Well, you just have to find some other boondongle to obsess over. Ah, it's fine. You can look for another way to pay your bail. Ugh, why take it out on me? Who you talking to? Well, Minosuke is like right here, right? Okay, well I searched the rubbish. I don't see the egg. Alright, I guess that's it. Alright, sit back up. Show stage is gone. Okay. It's like there was never any stage here at all. Yes, it's enough to make you doubt your own eyes. Just what the hell happened here? Thank you, Kitty, for the resub. I don't know if that changes the number or not. If anything, it prevents it from going down, so we'll take that. I do not have enough data to draw a conclusion yet. If you've got no clue, you could just say that. Tell me your thoughts. After all, we've still got no idea. Why all of a sudden the stage? God, some of those sub numbers get really high. Makes me realize I've been here a while, huh? I'm getting old. As expected, you lack imagination. I have already come up with a solution. I guess all I can do is try to find another witness in the end. Hey, don't ignore me. If you really need somebody to hear you out, bother someone else. Or better yet, talk to the waterfall over there. I'm telling you, I've got it, so be quiet and listen. Alright? The whole stage was actually a large boat. For the duration of the tourney, it was tethered to the riverbank. But when that commotion occurred, it was unmoored. And as a result, the stage ended up flowing downstream. But then what was that huge ruckus we heard in Iku's room? Yes, that has also been weighing on my mind. Listening to this guy is a waste of time. Let's have a look around in the water down below instead. I already did that. What are you doing down there? Fishing for salmon? Do I look like a bear to ya? Well, you do display many bear-like characteristics. Don't be stupid. I'm trying to see if there's any evidence lurking at the bottom. Do you intend to present a salmon as evidence? Quit it with the salmon already. Salmon. Hey, Marissa, what's that thing at the bottom? What thing? Did you spot a huge rainbow trout? I'm not kidding. Take a good look over there. What we got here? Is that a jar? What would anybody ever need a big jar like that for? You could cram an entire family in it. Well, if it isn't a jar, then what is it? Nah, I can tell it's a jar. Hold up. What is it? Did you spot a huge black bass? Nah, something about that jar rings a bell. It does. Right, this guy wasn't with me back then, so let's show him. Okay. By the way, chat, I have thought of an idea that I want to do. But to do it, I need help from people. More info on that eventually. but I have an idea I want to try, but it requires the audience's participation. Maybe not so much your participation right now, but you'll see what I mean. What did you expect me to have to say about this? Don't you think this jar looks a lot like the one down there? Now that you mention it, it certainly does. But just what is this jar in the first place? See, Chad, I would have done it today, but I forgot that daylight savings happened. Like, I was just like completely unaware of that. So, whoa! I found the log. It was the scroll wheel the whole time. All right. Found the log. I forgot daylight savings happened, so I ended up waking up like really late as a result. So I didn't have time to really do anything except eat and shower. What is this jar in the first place? I scrolled up on the scroll wheel, yeah. This here is a curse jar, the sort you'd buy when haunted by evil spirits. That's absurd. Anyways, it sounds like one of those jars got stolen last night. Maybe that's why what's lying at the bottom of the river here. This is the last daylight savings, yes. This is the last daylight savings. We will no longer be doing the DLS anymore. At least in North America. I don't know about other parts of the world, but yeah. At least in North America, this is the last time the clock's gonna change for daylight savings. So we're not doing that anymore. Why would anyone steal a jar to sink it down there? Don't ask me. A jar was stolen from the expo venue last night. It supposedly has the power to steal evil spirits. It's also pointlessly big. Turn up at the bottom of the river where the stage used to stand. The egg god's jar. Well, we searched the river. Okay, let's try backstage then. Oh. Is it just US? I thought it was US Canada. So it was easier to say North America. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I hope it's all gone though. It's annoying. It's annoying is what it is. I'm fine with the time not changing again. I especially hate planning things around when the time actually changes because it fucks everybody up. Oh, it's you two. Have you found any sign of Miss Miko? Nah, no luck on that front. I see. Speaking of which, have you searched for Miko's waiting room yet? No, not yet. There could be clues in there. Let's investigate right away. You just want to snoop around in Miko's room. Then here, take this, the key to Miss Miko's room. Hold up. You're just gonna give it to him? I'm a bit busy with some other stuff right now, so I'll leave the key in the investigation to you. I will gladly accept it. This guy. Now, let's be off, Marissa. Yeah. Wow, it looks exactly the same as the other room. What? Miko, please hang in there. Where am I? Oh, she's not dead. We are inside your waiting room. I see, but Hey, what happened to you? What were you doing collapsed here? Hey, you'll frighten her. Speak more gently. Everyone doesn't scare as easy as you know. Not quite sure. What am I doing here? I like that Miku's shaku in this game. Looks like a giant popsicle stick. Whoa there. Get a grip already. For now, we should gather everyone else. You can get to it. You can get to it. Oh god, I can't read. I'll keep an eye on Miko. Waiting room 3. So you can't remember what happened, you say? I'm very sorry, my head is still throbbing terribly. Could it be she lost her memory from being hit in the head? Miko, I hate to say it, but I don't buy that story. I see. Well, I suppose I can hardly blame you. She's acting so meek, nothing like the usual Miko. Hello there, Marissa. Don't you upset her too much. You gotta remember, right? The reason we're all looking for Miko? Of course. Will you tell us what happened with you? Yes, I understand. Eternal Miko. But even if you ask, I can barely remember anything. Oh shit, she's about to testify. Come on now. Can't you come up with something better, Miko? Miko's actions. After we found Miku's dead body, Iku. There was a massive commotion outside, and you all left her waiting room. However, I thought it'd be unwise to leave the corpse unguarded, so I stopped myself and stayed in the room. I'm sorry, I truly cannot remember anything past that. What? That's really everything? Yes, that is correct. I do not remember anything past that point. Now watch yourself, Marissa. She is hurting in both mind and body. Don't you go and do anything too rough. I get it already. As long as it turns out her whole story is the truth. Otherwise, she's getting the business. I'm just gonna poke her a couple times, that's all. Machina. So do you remember up to that point? Yes, I remember that part clearly. That crashing outside was terribly loud. It seems to left a strong impression on me. Well, I guess that'd be something you won't forget easily. Anyways, the real issue is what came after. Yes, I feel the same way. Why? The culprit could return to the scene and try to conceal evidence. There was a risk of that, wasn't there? Well, Miko, I hate to break it to you, but that's exactly what happened. Well, I guess that's true. Perhaps I was worrying needlessly, but better safe than sorry. With the way things turned out, she might have been right to worry. So I stopped myself and stayed in the room. You don't think to call any of us back? Before I knew it, everyone else had left the room already. That's so. Of course, my first impulse was to follow the group. However, I thought twice at the threshold. Nothing too suspicious here. Sorry, I truly cannot remember anything past that. Surely you remember the bloody footprints, y'all. You really can't remember anything? That's right. My memories are a void. I do not even remember being hit. Then we can't know for sure if you blacked out because you were attacked. It's as you said, however, I do still have a throbbing pain in my head. And it's pretty likely she was knocked out by a blow to the head. Haven't you done it up, Marissa? Pardon me. There doesn't seem to be anything up for us to discuss here. I guess so. But while we were all going to see what happened at the stage, Iku's body disappeared. And back then only Miko remained alone in the waiting room. So no matter how many you think about it, she's the most suspicious here. Miko, let me confirm one last thing. What do you need? Did you move Iku's body? I couldn't have. My memories cut out at the moment I turned to step back into the waiting room. I have no recollection of going any further than that room's threshold. I could not have touched the corpse. And you're sure about that? I am. There is no mistaking it. Then go ahead and add that to your testimony, if you insist. Oh, I got you now. You don't remember going any further than the threshold of Iku's waiting room. I already know that's bogus, but I'll press anyway. You really don't remember? I have no recollection of anything else. Well, if that's true, you couldn't have moved the corpse. I'm glad you agree. If it is true, that whole story, there's no meaning in continuing this interrogation. What you talking about? You were the first to say she must be the culprit to begin with. That was only because I got taken for a ride for a moment. Well, I don't feel like getting off this ride yet. At any rate, we'll know if she's involved in the incident or not once we herd her through to the end. Ba-ba-ba-boom. Miko. Get exposed. Get exposed. Get Zaid. Even if it didn't stick in your memory, it stuck in the evidence. The truth! Then would you mind showing it to me? This truth of yours? I've got it right here. What is this? Bloody footprints? And as it turns out, these are your footprints, Miko. What? That's right. This right here is something we found at the scene of the crime after Iku's corpse disappeared. And then the Kappa's lab results say they were your footprints, Miko. That's... In other words, this is proof you walked right up to that corpse. It can't be. And there'd be only one reason to approach Iku's dead body. To tamper with it. It's all lies. It has to be. Because I truly cannot remember any of this. Give it a rest, Miko. Do you really think that excuse is gonna hold up forever? Chat, the last, 2 frames of the brick get right in your face. So, I feel like somebody's gonna look at that emote and just be like, what is that? And then they, get close to it and then they get bricked. And it's like, oh. You're wrong, I really haven't done anything. So, she's gonna keep giving us the runaround. I am innocent. I would never do something so absurd. For that matter, I would have no reason to tamper with the corpse unless I were the murderer. She's got a point there. In the end, do you have any cause to suspecting me at all? You said yourself the footprint appeared after the crime was discovered, so how are they proof of any wrongdoing? Damn it, I can't let her get away with this one. See, that attack is what happens when you try to dodge Icicle Fall easy. Somebody gave Chirno special lessons. So when you try to stand in front of her to dodge Icicle Fall easy, she just throws a brick at you. There's no longer a safe spot. There's no longer a safe spot. Icicle Fall easy ain't so easy anymore. Damn it, I can't let her get away with this. But there's no evidence of anything like that, is there? So swallow your pride and admit your innocence. Nah, she's gotta be the one who hit Iku's body. Was there really nothing? Before the incident? No, even during the incident would be fine. Did Miko really not do anything suspicious at all? So you will recant yourself then? Not so fast. When the incident happened, y'all were acting... Why do I keep saying that? You were acting unnatural. Acting unnatural? What on earth are you talking about? Your magic trick failed. Kudaida! When the incident took place, you were doing a magic trick on stage. And something blatantly unnatural happened back then, didn't it? Ah! That's right. You messed up your own performance. No matter how you think about it, that's not normal. What now? Is making a mockery of me that enjoyable to you? It is true that my magic trick was a failure, but that has no relation to the murder. Sure, we don't know if it has anything to do with the incident yet, but you could still testify to why you messed up, right? Why should I have to testify to such a thing? What will that accomplish, aside from humiliating me? You told me to show a connection between Ya and the murder. Ya. And that means we're both got a duty to give proof now. So if that's your answer in this situation, if you refuse to cooperate, that's the same as admitting there's a connection, right? Very well, I understand. This will prove a waste of time anyway. I appreciate Miko's face. Chat really likes that brick emote. VOD watchers can't see it. Actually, VOD watchers can see it if they watch it on Twitch, but VOD watchers on YouTube can't see it. Chat loves it. It is true that my magic trick did not go according to plan, but it was only due to faulty preparations. Simply put, I was careless. In any case, this has nothing to do with any incident whatsoever. That was quick. Sorry, chat. You ever have those feelings, or like those moments where you're just like, you're not like, you wouldn't say you're like hungry or anything like that, but like you feel like you could go for a drink of water, but as soon as you drink the water, you're like, oh my god, that is so good, and then you just gotta chug the bottle. Why is that? Sometimes you just gotta chug the bottle, and I don't know why. It's like you just become insatiable. So you're saying it's totally unrelated to the murder? Naturally, rather. Why would you even think otherwise? Sure, I won't know if that's all you'll tell me. So it's up to me to dissect Miko's magic trick and reveal what's really going on. Chat, quick. Post your favorite 7 TV emote. Only that one though. We're gonna run a poll right now. Post your favorite, only your favorite of the 7 TV emotes. That one broke. Am I the only one seeing that? Oh, I don't know how to hold my mouse anymore. Rinroll is not showing up on my my chat for some reason. It broke. Okay. It is true that my magic trick did not go according to plan. Yes. Bochi, Wide People Happy, Hinobob, Koishi Bongo, oh! Kogasa Dance, Churno Hug, Chen, Wicked. I'm a pretty big fan of Wicked. I'm a pretty big fan of Wicked myself. Glizzy twirling. Wicked's just got some wicked energy, you know? I love her little hands stretched out like that. One thing I want to know is what's supposed to happen when the magic trick works out. Do you really need to ask? I would think it goes without saying. My guess is the spear that vanished from one box is going to show up in the other. Yes, exactly right, but that spear did not actually show up. In other words, the spear you put in the box just got lost. Well, that seems to be the case. Miko, add that stuff to your testimony, if I must. The spear that I put in the box disappeared somewhere. So the spear's gone missing. I was actually quite fond of it. It's a regrettable loss. Well, we just have to figure it out, don't we? Where that spear went. But it was only due to faulty preparation. Simply put, I was careless. But there was plenty of time to prepare carefully, right? It ain't like you make this kind of boneheaded mistake. The ability to make mistakes is a privilege conferred to earthly beings. We are alive, but that also means we are fallible. No, that ain't the problem here. However, you were effortlessly exposed yourself, so it is my own mistake really so different. Ugh. Guess I can't argue with that. In any case, this has nothing to do with any incident whatsoever. How could you be so sure it doesn't? On the contrary, I feel it is much stranger that you would think it does. In the end, a failed magic trick. What could something like that have to do with the murder? Well, I'm asking questions so we can figure that out. I sincerely hope you find something. Damn it, don't look so pleased with yourself. Marissa, is there a point to this line of questioning? I ain't trying to find the point, I'm trying to find the truth. That's the same thing. Shut up! Try and think of something too. This stinks of desperation. You know, I always liked how in Phoenix Wright games, even when it's like almost completely, without a shadow of a doubt, the guy you're accusing who is to blame, they'll still be like, sure, that all sounds all well and good, but you can't prove it, lol. And then he just walks away, and somehow that doesn't negatively affect his reputation at all, and then an innocent man goes to jail. Like, what? What? Well, somebody's gotta go to jail. I found your spear. Miko, speaking of your spear, I got it right here. Eh? How do you have this? I found this thing in one of the boxes you used in your magic trick. I don't have to tell you what that actually means, do I? My goodness. So you have it all figured out already, don't you? My eye hurts. That spear was still in the box. In other words, the spear you put in the box on stage didn't disappear. We just couldn't see it. Fee, at this late hour, you'd still insist on ruining the magic? Anyway, Miko, it wasn't a disappearing act you were planning. It was teleportation. But the spear you put in the box to the right on stage didn't go anywhere. So just what was up with the spear we were supposed to find in the box to the left? If you understand that much, shouldn't you be able to guess the answer to that question already? Obviously. What was really going to show up in that box to the left was... another spear. It was another spear. Another? Yeah, the truth was Miko prepared 2 spears. Miko had 2 boxes brought to the stage, and both boxes had 3 lids each. The lid on the front and back sides, and a third one on top. Yes, this is all correct, but the spear really did disappear. How could that have happened? There were 3 lids. As long as you keep that in mind, it's easy to explain. The long and short of it is, those boxes Miko prepared were really built like this. What? A partition. So back then, Miko opened the top lid on the box, put the spear in, and then she opened the front lid to show us the inside. That would certainly explain how the spear disappeared. However, what about the teleportation part? That's one thing that clearly sticks out in my mind. The very first thing Miko did was show us the left box was empty, and then as she walked away, she quietly gave it a half spin. A half spin? Ah, you got it. Simply put, you can put a spear in the back of the box before coming on stage. With that setup, the spear wouldn't be visible in the beginning, but if you give the box a half spin, the spear would now be facing the audience. And if you open the lid after that, it'd be a spear, like a spear magically appeared. I see. So you truly had everything figured out after all, Marissa. But what about it? Now you revealed my trick and nothing has changed. I wonder about that. Eh? There are 2 spears. One you put in the box to the right on stage, and another you hid in the left box ahead of time. But that second spear is nowhere to be found. What's that all about? Certainly, this is the question now. I got hiccups. That spear vanished, and that means somebody took it away. To top it off, they do that because they needed it for something. Needed it? Why on earth would someone need my spear? That missing spear? Here's the reason it disappeared. It was an edible spear. It was a borrowed spear. It was used to kill Iku. It's the weapon that was used to murder Iku. What? Whatever killed Iku ran all the way through her. When you hear that, isn't that missing spear the first thing that comes to mind? That's absurd. The second spear was used as a murder weapon, and therefore it couldn't be brought up on stage. Is that so hard to believe? It can't be true. Right now we gotta search for that spear. If we can find it, everything will become clear. No! That's checkmate, Miko. Get bricked, idiot. I found it. It was pushed behind that shelf over there. Whoa, is that... It's covered in blood. Just like I thought. The second spear Miko prepared as a prop for her magic trick that by missing the blade has a shape of a triangular pyramid and is covered in blood. The spear's blade is a bit different from the other one. The first one was more like a sword, but this one has a pyramid tip. Ah, that. It couldn't be helped. In truth, I wanted to use 2 perfectly identical spears, but finding them turned out to not be so easy. In the end, I had to make do with the next best thing. In practice, I had hoped to keep the audience from getting a good look at the spear tips. But they're so different, you can tell they're not the same at a glance. Anyway, it seems we've caught our killer now. Wait, I don't know anything. My memory... There's no way we'd ever believe such a convenient excuse. I don't know, chat, I don't know what it is about this Momiji, but when she says lines like this, I just, you know, I can't take her serious at all. I just can't take her seriously at all. It's not. Miko could be telling the truth. Everything's because of the curse. It must be that God egg took over her body, and that's why she can't remember what she did. Quit being stupid. She's obviously lying. Why? Why won't any of you believe me? Miko. Rinosuke, do you suspect me as well? Me? I haven't done anything. Please, you must believe me. Of course I believe in you. Get real, Corden. You're just in denial. I am not in denial by any means. Then do you have evidence that she isn't the killer in your possession? That is... Rinosuke, that's it. Of course, that's it. Well, let's see it then. You're proof that Miko's innocent. Haven't you all lost sight of something terribly important? Terribly important, is it? At the time the murder was witnessed by Kogasa, Miko was performing on stage in full view of us all. Even if there is a god egg and it can control the actions of others, there is only one Toyosato Mimi no Miko. Simply put, it is categorically impossible for her to have murdered Iku. Gah! Rinosuke, my man! Ha! Ha 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 ha! All I did was state the obvious conclusion logic led me to, Miko. But then who even was the killer in the end? I guess that means it was Kogasa after all. Eh? Wait, why? I've already explained why. How'd you get in Iku's waiting room? And why didn't you see the killer? There's still no explaining that, unless the killer was you. That's not right! But it looks like the murder weapon was Miko's spear? Yeah, that's true, and only Miko could have moved the corpse too. In other words, we gotta consider that the 2 of them could have been accomplices. The 2 of them accomplices. That make everything come together. But needless to say, I would have no reason to cooperate with Kogasa. Me too! There's no reason I would have to help Miko. It's true, it doesn't seem likely those 2 would work together to commit a murder. In that case, maybe Kogasa did it all on her own. Why me? There's no getting around Miko's alibi unless you really were her accomplice. There's no way. Does she seriously believe this could have been done without Miko getting her hands dirty? Whoa, just now the truth revealed itself to me. Well then, Aya, how about you let me hear that truth of yours? It'd be my pleasure. It's such genius, I'm almost scaring myself. I trust that bird's genius about as far as I trust Corden's. Hey, she's done a lot of cases in this series, so she's quite smart. Culprit's name is Kogasa was undoubtedly the one who murdered Iku, and she tried to arrange everything so Miko would take the fall. So Kogasa stole Miko's spear ahead of time and coaxed Iku into letting her into her waiting room. And then the right time came, she ran Iku right through with her spear. Afterwards, Kogasa ran away screaming and passed herself off as the one who first discovered the crime. Chat, I wonder how many times that tripped other people up when 10 Desires was new. The fact that Miko's name was Miko, but, you know, but at that point in time, there were two people that were, like, you know, had the title of Miko. And that actually made me think there just for a moment. I've never seen art of Miko in Shrine Maiden's clothes, which is like, I feel like that joke writes itself, you know? Miko, like, the joke writes itself, but I've never seen that. I've just never seen that before. It makes a lot more sense than I expected. So what do you think of my flawless reasoning? I guess pigs do fly now. What is that supposed to mean? But I don't think Kogasa could have pulled up this crime alone, so there's gotta be a chink somewhere. Well, there's been art of, like, characters wearing Reimu's clothes. I've seen art of Suika. Suika's the one I know the most, like, little Miko Suika, that's Haniwa. That's Haniwa Store's little Suika. I've seen art of Jun wearing Reimu's clothes. From more than one artist, mind you. So, that's pretty good stuff. How can you be so sure? That was the conclusion you came to yourself, wasn't it? Miko Kasen is canon? Yes, it is actually. Miko Kasen did look after the shrine in Wildhorn Hermit, and I do believe she wore a spare outfit of Reimu's. Then it stands to reason that Kogasa was also behind everything else. But is that really possible? And she tried to arrange everything so Miko would take the fall. Kogasa was gonna frame Miko. Yeah, that's right. This is why she chose her spear as the murder weapon. But why would Kogasa go after Miko? Well, she must have had some personal reason of her own. It just sounds like empty words to me. And when did all that happen? Maybe Kasen prepared her own version of the clothes. I don't know, she's not that much bigger than Reimu, is she? Then again, I guess Reimu's outfit is already like... I'm not gonna finish that thought. When did that all happen? The incident happened during Miko's performance, so she would have to do it before that. Sure, that makes sense, but there's one part I've got a problem with. What's the matter? If Kogasa was gonna frame Miko, isn't it weird the murder was committed while Miko was on stage? Because they ended up giving Miko an alibi, right? It looks like Kogasa didn't think this through very well, which is why she was found out so easily. Hey now. Anyway, something like that could happen, theoretically. I like how the flaw here is Kogasa, not Aya's reasoning. And when the right time came, she ran Iku right through with that spear. So that stuff Kogasa said about hearing Iku's scream was all a lie. If she's the murderer, then that's how it'd have to be. Well, I feel the same way. Still, it sounds terrifying, being suddenly killed by someone standing right in front of you. I think it'd be a lot scarier to be attacked from behind out of nowhere. So you wouldn't be scared if I attacked you right now? Just don't attack me at all! What kind of question is that, Aya? Getting stabbed by somebody you're looking at is scary. Well, I think it'd be scarier if you got stabbed in the back. And Aya's response is, so I can stab you right now in the front, right? Like, Aya? Hello? So the one who found the body was really the killer. It was a self-report. It is, isn't it? Still, that's not necessarily always true. But don't you think there's a very high possibility it was? A possibility. I wonder about that. How is it? Have you come up with anything? I really can't say for sure. But if there's no contradictions, wouldn't that make this the truth? Then if I want to deny this, I have to find a contradiction. Alright, time to pay attention. Alright, let's review the facts. Murdered Iku, she tried to arrange Shut her range, everything so Miko would take the fall. Also stole Miko's spear ahead of time and coaxed Iko into letting her into the waiting room. When the right time came, she ran Iko through with the spear. Or also ran away screaming and passed the first one described. Alright. Gotta find the contradiction. Door of the waiting room's backstage locked until the time to close. Can't be opened without a key. Sometimes you feel someone's spying on them. Jar is stolen bottom of the river. That's irrelevant. Yomu's box is irrelevant. Picture of Iku's body. Pretty graphic. Bloody footprints. Messed it up. Spears are magically fat blade shaped like a sword. Went missing, the blade is triangular shaped. It's covered in blood. Ahead of time? How would she do that? It's a bit funny, Aya. Is it? I'm not feeling particularly funny right now. Well, actually, I thought so too, but keep this up and I'll start feeling angry. Sorry about that. Couldn't come up with anything after all. How'd she get her hands on it? I don't think I'm pursuing the right train of thought, but I'm not really sure what, not really sure here. No. It's over there somewhere, and you can let us know when you find it. Okay, it's not that. It's not that. The dike came, she ran Iku through with the spear. There's an issue in here somewhere, but I'm not seeing it. Also ran away screaming and passed herself off as the first one to discover the crime. Well, good thing I gave myself ample time. That's a bit funny, Aya. Okay. No, I'm really not sure. I'm not sure what point to address here and how to address it. Try to arrange everything so that Miko would take the fall. Then why did she hide the spear? Oh, wait. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I understand. I was right. I had the right chain of thought there when I presented the spear. If it was all set up to make Miko take the fall, why was Yomu's sword in the open and why was the spear hidden? I get it. My brain has blasted. Sure, that's one way of looking at it, but it's totally wrong. What makes you think you can say that? It's about the culprit's patsy. It's obvious that the true culprit never meant for Miko to be the one taking the fall. And how would you know? It's because of this thing. Ah, this is the sword Yomu used for her magic trick. It got left behind at the scene, covered in blood. Gah. And that means the killer planned to pin the crime on Yomu, not Miko. But maybe the sword was left there by someone else. To begin with, almost immediately after Iku's body disappeared, Kogasa made us listen to her deductions. And back then, she reasoned that the killer must have been Yomu. Wouldn't that be weird if she wanted to pin the crime on Miko? Ugh. And there's one more fatal flaw with your case. You mean there's still more? That bloody spear. Where do we end up finding it? It was right here in Miko's waiting room. Ah. Oh, it was in Miko's waiting room, not Iku's. As we all know by now, the door to these rooms lock themselves, and Miko should be the only one with the key. So how did Kogasa get in Miko's room to plant the spear here? That be... Now you've got no rebuttal. Oh, that's a classic. No, that gives me an idea. Eh? For real? Is she really that quick on the draw? I mean, she is experienced. Years of experience lawyering. Kogasa wanted to set Yomo up to take the fall, but she also tried to cast suspicion on Miko as insurance. So when she went to Iku's room, she brought both the spear and the sword. After picking the right time to strike, she killed Iku with the spear, then covered the sword in blood and left the scene. After that, Kogasa went back to her own room and hid the spear there. Then she came to us screaming and pretended to have been the one who discovered the murder. Later on, when the stage collapsed and we ran out to see what happened, Kogasa sneaked back here unnoticed and knocked Miko unconscious. Then she stole Miko's key, moved the spear and Miko's body to this room, and returned the key to Miko's pocket. After that, Kogasa took away Iku's corpse to make it look like everything was because of the hot dog curse. That was lengthy. She pulled it back together. This is my ability as a detective. Damn it, she got me thinking she was just an idiot again. How did she do it? So how about it? Will you back down? As if I'd ever do that. There's just no way Miko didn't have a hand in this whole mess, so there's gotta be a contradiction. Dude, there's so many things in there. Oh god, there were so many statements. Why'd you go to all that trouble? You see, if the suspicions against Yomo were cleared up, Kogasa would need some way to avoid being suspected herself. The more suspects there are, the better it is for the real killer. Well, that's not wrong. Could Kogasa really have gotten her hands on both of those? Well, we can confirm with their owners right now. Right, after I was done with that sword, I just tossed it in my box so anyone could have picked it up. How about you, Miko? Well, you see, having to unlock my waiting room door got to be a nuisance, so I ended up propping it open sometimes. So there would have been a few opportunities to steal the spear. That it would be possible after all. So much for notorious security, huh? Picking the right time to strike, she killed Iku with the spear, covered the sword in blood, left it at the scene. And that spear is definitely the murder weapon? Weren't you the one who said the sword couldn't have been it to begin with? Well, that's true, but... Anyway, there's no reason to be dubious this time. Seems like it. Why would she do that? Because she'd be suspicious as hell if she ran out with a bloody spear. Kogasa needed a place to hide the murder weapon in the meantime. So it's reasonable to think she left it in her own waiting room. It's true. It could have gone down like that. Then she came to us screaming and pretended to be the one who discovered the murder. And that happened in the middle of Miko's magic trick. Correct. But then it's hard to believe Kogasa thought she could frame Miko, ain't it? Because she'd be giving Miko an alibi. Still, Kogasa's preferred target was Yomu. She might have used Miko's spear because she had no other option, or so she could further confuse the investigation. In the end, it really doesn't make much more sense that Yomu was her first pick for a patsy. Later on, when the stage collapsed, we ran out to see what happened. Kogasa sneaked back. Why would she attack Miko instead of Yomu? She never had a chance to attack Yomu. Or rather, she didn't originally intend to attack anyone, but it turned out Miko stayed behind by chance. Kogasa couldn't move the body with her standing watch, and that's why she had to knock Miko unconscious. In that case, everything would fall into place. It's true that it looks like that, but is it the truth? She stole Miko's key, moved the spear, so Miko's key got stolen. That'd be the one way to get past the auto lock. I guess so. Miko had been knocked unconscious, taking her key would be easy. And besides, you found her collapsed in the waiting room, right? Isn't it reasonable to assume that it was because Kogasa locked both Miko and the spear in there? Thanks to the auto locks, the culprit could leave the key behind and just close the door behind them. That bird's weirdly sharp. After that, Kogasa took away Iku's corpse to make it look like everything was done by the hot dog curse. It's not hot dog, it's god egg. It's the same thing. It's really not. At any rate, this is the whole picture of the incident. To make it look like the curse of the god egg was real, Kogasa made the corpse disappear. But would it take such a huge risk moving the body just for that? It seems as though further questioning will not yield any new facts. But I still feel like Aya's explanation leaves way too much to chance. If Miko had to stay behind, what was Kogasa going to do with the murder weapon? And to begin with, Iku was the one who started that god egg story. It would have been a bunch of coincidences that Kogasa worked with. But isn't it fine if some things happen by coincidence? I just don't like any of it. Okay. Okay. Went to Sword and Shield. Strike the spear. Goes under arm and hit the spear there. Pretending to be able to discover the murder. Later on in today's clash. Back on nose, knocked me unconscious. Stole Miko's key. I just don't believe that because of the footprints. It ain't gonna work, Aya. And why not? My sixth sense told me so. Let me give you some advice as an experienced news reporter. Trusting dodgy sources is the worst thing you can do. Like you care what if you put it that rag is true or not. Coinky dinks. Knocked her unconscious. Not the footprints? We gotta stay away Iku's corpse to make it look like everything was done because of the hot dog curse. Where'd she take it? Huh? Oh, it actually was the footprints. It was the footprints, but I had the wrong thing 2 times. Okay. There we go. So Kogasa was the one who moved Iku's body, but I don't think that's possible. Why do you say that? Because then we wouldn't have found these at the scene. Ah, Miko left behind bloody footprints at the crime scene, so if Kogasa had moved the body, she should have left footprints too. But if Kogasa avoided the pool of blood, she wouldn't leave footprints. To begin with, you've been saying Miko's been knocked out by Kogasa so she could take her key. If Miko was out cold, then she never would have stepped in that blood pool at all. Kwa. In other words, Miko must have walked up right to the body at least once. That'd be the only reason for Miko to do something like that, to take it away. So she could have made the murder look like it was part of the God Egg curse and hid Kogasa's crime. And in the end, that means the 2 of them were accomplices. Gah, no way! This concludes my report, Chief. I'm sorry, we were arguing that the whole time? Kogasa, Miko, the both of you conspired to kill Iku. And then you hid her dead body away. So you could make it all look like the God Egg's curse. Wait a minute, why would we want to kill Iku in the first place? That's right, there's no reason we would do such a thing. There's no reason because of the curse. But if the curse was real, they wouldn't have had to go and fake a curse, would they? That's right, but Momiji, we're gonna need 2 arrest warrants on the double. Roger! Okay, Alice. Oh, is the party already over? That's a shame. Alice, are you gonna say we ain't done again? There's still so much we do not understand. The cause of the stage's collapse is still a mystery. Well, the stage has got nothing to do with the murder. You can't seriously believe that. Didn't it collapse immediately after the corpse was discovered? If the stage didn't break at a moment, how could Iku's body have been removed from the scene? Certainly, when we heard that commotion, we all rushed inside. And on that topic, where is Iku's body now? We just gotta ask these 2. I'm not done. Why would Kogasa and Miko not dispose of the true murder weapon? If you threw that spear in the waterfall basin just outside, it would sink to the bottom, never to be found. So why leave it in the waiting room? That's... Well, can you truly say you've solved the case yet? Who do you think you are? If you're gonna keep interfering with police business, how about I just arrest you too? Ah, I apologize. I have no intention of obstructing justice. In fact, you have my full cooperation. Alice, what the hell are you thinking? To be continued. We're going. To be continued right now. Alice, what you got in mind? It's nothing that outstanding, but I thought we could still bring some unseen truths to light. Unseen truths. Notori, is everything ready? Yeah, we're all good to go. Ready for what? Ah, well, I thought maybe we could check for fingerprints. Fingerprints? What's that? You could call them the marks of your fingers. Yokai and humans all have unique patterns on their fingers, you see. In other words, by looking at these real closely, we can find out who touched what. That sounds handy for sure. If there's any evidence you've been having second thoughts about, just let me check it for fingerprints. This is a great opportunity. Do you have anything for them to examine? He's got that right. For now, we should start with the murder weapon. Notori, could you check the spear for fingerprints? Gotcha! Just give me a moment. These look like Miss Miko's fingerprints. How about anyone else's? Nope, nothing unexpected here. That's so. Covered in blood, the only fingerprints found on it were Miko's. Do you have anything else for me? Let me think. Oh, I know. Maybe we could inspect the other weapon. Oh, yeah. If it was part of a cover-up, the culprit's fingerprints could be on there, too. Notori, can you do this sword, too? No problem. Give me a second. These are Yomu's fingerprints. Did you find anyone else's? There's one thing that stands out. These look like Miss Iku's prints. What did you just say? Why would it be Iku's? What's that mean? All of our deductions up until now? Iku's fingerprints were detected on it. What do you think, Marissa? It's just one thing after another. Feels like I've gone through a bunch of trouble for nothing. My. Hey, Alice, can you give me a hand here? All on my own, I just can't sort my thoughts out. Ah, I see. That's fine. Now to get us started, shall I play devil's advocate for you? Sure, go ahead. Well then, let's begin our review. Miko and Kogasa were the culprits, and they planned to pin the crime on Yomu. And for that reason, Kogasa took Yomu's sword and headed to Iku's waiting room. But since you couldn't actually stab someone with that sword, something else had to be used as the real murder weapon. And so, after coaxing Iku into opening her waiting room door, Kogasa killed her with Miko's spear. To ensure Miko wouldn't be suspected, the murder was committed while she was on stage. Kogasa then hid the murder weapon, the spear, in Miko's waiting room, using a key she had been given ahead of time. After that, Kogasa pretended to have discovered the murder and led everyone to Iku's room. Shortly afterwards, the stage collapsed, drawing everyone's attention. Miko took the opportunity to move Iku's body in order to pass the murder off as part of the God Egg's curse. And then Miko pretended to have lost her memory, so we would believe she'd been taken over by the God Egg. Oh, that was a lot. Felt like that was starting to make sense. Things are different now. There's some fatal flaws in this explanation. Now let's proceed. The path of the truth begins. Those two were in it together, and they were going to frame Yomu. This was the product of some very thorough reasoning, wasn't it? That's right. Because nothing else made sense. Then, let's look over everything else in order. Bah. Was that sword just left lying around where anyone could take it? According to Yomu, she had stashed the sword in her box. And since that box wouldn't fit through the door in her waiting room, she had it to be placed next to it. Anyone could have simply picked up the sword there. Sure, but things are a bit different now. I wonder, did Kogasa know about that sword's secret from the start? We can't be certain, but if the sword felt strangely light when Kogasa took it in her hand, she might have immediately realized something was off. She must have been at least found out before committing the crime, one way or the other. Well, I wonder what Kogasa told her to get in. Maybe she pretended to be bringing her something. I guess that could have been it. Still, that's not really a concern, is it? Yeah, the real problem's something else entirely. To ensure Miko wouldn't be suspected, the murder had to be committed while she was on stage, and that's why Kogasa picked that time to report the incident. It was in order to protect Miko from becoming a suspect. That would make it easier for Miko to dispose of the corpse. With such a strong alibi, Miko could not be the murderer, and if she wasn't the murderer, she would have no apparent reason to tamper with the body. Right? That was the strange turn of events that could only be explained if they were accomplices. But why not just throw that spear into the waterfall like you said earlier? Perhaps you did not want to run the risk of anyone seeing the spear at the bottom of the river. Even if it sank to the bottom of the waterfall basin, it could still be found by the police, so it might be better to hide it in the waiting room. Does that all really make sense? Not really. But there's one thing that's bothering me. Why did Kogasa tell us she'd been in Iku's room? If she hadn't said that, things wouldn't have gotten so complicated. It is true that she went inside that room, so she may have let it slip without truly considering the consequences. As things stand, I cannot think of any other reason. Oh yeah? Then what was that all part of Kogasa's plan too? In all likelihood it was. There's no explaining what came after otherwise. But how the hell did she pull that off? If these two are the true culprits, we should be able to find through questioning them. That is, if they are the true culprits. Right now we can't tell for sure. Oh man. Thank you for the raid, Christian. Christian, if you're here, did you already talk about Wednesday? I did not. Well, I said I was be over your place on Wednesday, but I haven't said anything else, in case you haven't. But what about Miko actually do you with that body? That too remains a mystery. Well, if Miko really was the one to move it, she would know the answer. It's fine. Okay. Alright. Miko really was the one to move it, she would know the answer to that question. The true culprit would know, but is it really Miko? Roger that. What time should I come over, by the way? Daylight savings happened, so things are all out of whack. True culprit would know, but is it really Miko? And then Miko pretended to have lost her memory so she would believe she had been taken over by the God Egg. So you think it's all an act? Her falling unconscious included. Seems like that'd make the most sense. Right, and this is it so far. But let's focus on questioning... Alright. Alright. See you later then. Let's focus on questions we can actually answer. What are you both arguing about? I, for one, do not feel there is anything left for us to discuss. Do you really think so? Because there were no contradictions remaining, were there? That was true until just a little bit ago. But Alice showed us the truth we couldn't see. And that's gonna take us out of the foundations of this case. Alright! Alright, 20 messages and I have to find the problem. Kogasa took Yomo's sword and headed for Iku. But Kogasa's prints aren't on it. Ho ho ho. This idea that Kogasa was the one who took the sword, it's just not gonna hold up anymore. Why do you say that? Because they weren't on that sword. Kogasa's fingerprints. Ah, that is certainly true. In other words, Kogasa can't be the one who planted the sword. Isn't it possible she wore gloves? We'd still be able to tell something like that, right? That's correct. Still, this doesn't topple the case. Why not? Because there were Iku's fingerprints on the sword. It was not prepared as a red herring by the murderer, but taken by Iku for her own purposes. That is one way to interpret it. She's not wrong. Still, we've turned part of our theory on its head now. So we're still making progress. And with that, shall we resume our reasoning? Okay. Miko and Kogasa were the culprits. They planned to pin the crime on Yomu. For that reason, Kogasa took Yomu's sword and headed to Iku's waiting room. You can actually stab someone with that sword. Something else had to be used with the real murder weapon. Coaxing Iku to open her door, Kogasa killed her with Miko's spear. But that doesn't work either, because the only fingerprints on there are Miko's. So you think Kogasa's the one who used Miko's spear? That's weird. Why do you say that? The problem's the murder weapon, the spear. There was only Miko's fingerprints on there. And that means it wasn't Kogasa who killed Iku with it. That appears to be the case, but this isn't necessarily true. Why not? Because Miko was Kogasa's accomplice. If she knew about fingerprints, she might have wiped them from the spear. But then Miko wouldn't have leave her own fingerprints on there. It would be strange if her own property had none of her fingerprints on it, don't you think? And so after wiping the spear, Miko deliberately applied her fingerprints to it again. It's true that explanation's holding up so far, Alice. But we had to make her allowances for 2 times. That's a big deal. So maybe it'd be better if we rethought everything from the beginning. Right. At times it's necessary to get a fresh start. Still, where should we go with this from? I feel a good starting point would be the murder weapon. The murder weapon. Miko's fingerprints were the only one on that spear, but at the time of the murder was committed, Miko was on the stage. Still, if it went like he just explained just a bit ago, then Miko would need to be expected, have expected a fingerprint test ahead of time, and why use a weapon that would incriminate her in the first place? That's... Ultimately, the fingerprints on the spear can't be those of the murderer who killed Iku. What kind of conclusion should we draw from this? A weapon with impossible fingerprints. What's that mean? The spear was not the murder weapon. The spear wasn't the murder weapon either. What the hell? I feel the same way. Whoa, whoa, whoa. But then, where'd the real murder weapon go? Well, whatever the case, the spear seems like it couldn't be it. This is what the fingerprints suggest. But if the murder really was before Kogasa said she heard the scream, that'd be a way Miko could be the killer, right? I suppose. But if the murder was so elaborately planned, why use a weapon as conspicuous as the spear to begin with? They could have prepared a much more advantageous murder weapon. You can say whatever you want, but we never found anything like that. Settle down, Marissa. Don't get lost in the weeds. You're still being led astray by the mastermind's misdirection. But you already have clues that will lead you to them. Clues that'll lead me to them. Everything about this incident was one big magic trick. We are its audience. And our culprit is the magician. I just don't get anything anymore. The true mastermind behind this incident wanted all of it to be passed off as the curse of the God Egg. At this point, shouldn't that ring some alarm bells? I see. I should have just gone with my gut from the very beginning. Now who is it? The true mastermind behind this chain of events. They're the one. Hey, wait a moment. That makes no sense no matter how you look at it. Why do you say that? Because she's the victim. Do you mean to say this was a suicide? Not a chance. Suicides don't walk off from their death place on their own or remove the murder weapon from the scene. In fact, we couldn't find the murder weapon anywhere. In other words, there was never any murder weapon at all. Then how in the world was Iku killed? Here's the kicker. Iku was never killed. What? There's no murder weapon, and there was no murder to begin with. But we all saw her body, and all this blood at the scene. We don't know if that stuff was really Iku's blood. It's been a while since we saw a bloody gory incident against Sokyo. We were all so shocked we never considered it could all be fake. Inconceivable! And with that, you're finally standing at the same starting line as me, Marissa. Alice, if you knew, then you should have just said it. This is as far as I went. I wanted us to figure out the rest together. But I needed to see if you could get on my level first. Don't treat me like a kid. At the opening ceremony, Iku dropped the name of the God Egg and bewildered the whole venue. From the very beginning, she planned for all her crimes to ultimately be blamed on this God Egg. It's as if that ever worked. Now we know who the mastermind is, but the question that then becomes, where has she gone? Where did Iku disappear to, huh? We have to consider Iku was covered in blood from playing dead. She would stand out terribly if she walked around like that. Yeah, someone who's supposed to be dead can't run around willy-nilly. So she'd need a place that's not too far to lie low, or to change clothes without being seen. What's the matter, Marissa? No. Bloody clothes or no, there'd be too much of a risk of being noticed if Iku just tried to walk away from here. So she'd rather hide out somewhere and wait for her chance to escape. Don't you think that makes sense? But as far as hiding places in this venue go, there's only one. Eh? This is where Iku's been hiding. There's only one place to hide. What? Where's she hiding? Right here. What made you pick this spot? Blind faith. Don't look so proud of that. Think properly. Someplace you can hide a person in. No matter how you think about it, there's only one place that comes to mind. That right there is the box Yomo used for her magic trick. You mean Iku? Yeah, Iku tucked herself away in this box to make her escape. But you can't escape by shutting yourself in a box, can you? Sure, but that's only true if you don't have an accomplice on the outside. What? We gotta get a move on, Alice. The real mastermind could be escaping as we speak. Uh-oh. We gotta hurry and check out that box. Hold on a second. From what I'm hearing, that's just a shot in the dark. Do you have any proof Iku would try to use that box? I do. Eh? Right. It all revolves around the box's owner. Here's proof the box is part of Iku's plan. Culprit in this incident was planning for Yomu to be arrested, and that was why she planted that sword at the scene. But what does that have to do with any of this? That box we're talking about is Yomu's box, so what would happen if you arrested Yomu and took her away? And when you came back, it turned out her box was gone. That'd make a commotion for sure. The point is, that explained how Iku's corpse vanished. I see. If a box belonging to the culprit, to Yomu, disappeared, it would be assumed she used it to dispose of the body. And there'd be no risk of Iku's accomplice falling under suspicion. All of today's crimes would be on Yomu's hands. It can't be! Now let's move. Iku could be gone already. Oh shit. Whoops. Hold it right there. Tenshi Hinanai. What? We're all gonna have a look inside that box for you right now. If you got nothing to hide, then that's no big deal, alright? Now get out of there, Iku. Everything you've been getting up into, we've seen through it all. Dear me, what meddlesome visitors. Iku. No, Iku Nagai is dead. But then who on earth are you? I am that which came first before chicken and egg both. The god egg. On this day I have claimed this maiden's mortal flesh that I might manifest into this world. This is pathetic in at least two ways. No. No. God egg. No. Oi, Miss Egg God. Are you really the mastermind behind this incident? Indeed, all these disasters were wrought by my curse. Heed my words, mortals. Should you persist in disrespecting eggs, you shall be beset by further calamities. That's gonna be a real problem. I love me some egg dishes. Damnation awaits you. You're just not gonna come quietly, are you? So let's settle this once and for all. I'm putting an end to this sideshow. You would call my divine punishment a sideshow. Foolish, insolent human who fears not God, you shall face divine punishment. If you show me this whole mess really was some kind of divine reckoning, I'll get down on my knees and pray. Very well. Now let's begin. Time to expose today's final magic trick. All that has transpired today was due to my divine punishment. First of all, I took over the body of Kogasa Tartara and impaled Iku Nagai on the spear of Toyosato Mimi no Miko. I then concealed the spear in this box and went to the stage pretending to have discovered the murder. Afterwards, I abandoned the body of Kogasa Tartara and possessed Toyosato Mimi no Miko to make her carry the corpse here. At that time, I had her take the spear from the box and bring it to her waiting room where she was rendered unconscious. Ain't her story exactly like what we came up with back there? Perhaps she had received reports from her accomplice. That is to say, she must have been keeping tabs on us while we're far this whole time. But there's a problem with this story. The hole in this reasoning we opened up ourselves, it hasn't been patched up yet. So let's rush through this straight away. Amazing. Divine punishment, huh? You heard it all from the mouth of Iku Nagai, did you not? This tournament is a cesspit of sinful impurity, and yet you paid no heed to her words, as is your wont. If that's the case, why'd you go and kill Iku for? If there are plenty other wicked unbelievers to go after here, right? We gods work in mysterious ways that are beyond the comprehension of mere mortals. There's always an excuse with gods, ain't it? But why did you go to all that trouble? My curse is a display of my power meant to instill fear and dismay into your hearts. It would defy explanation for an umbrella to kill a herald of heavens with the spear of a saint, would it not? But still, that ain't my only problem with it. However, this was only the beginning of my divine punishment. So she's gotta pretend she didn't hear that. You put the spear in the box. Indeed, is there a problem with that? No, that part ain't really a problem. Then do not interrupt my narrative. Some short-tempered god she is. Why'd you have to make her carry up the body? In order for my resurrection to be complete, I require sacrifices. I deem this maiden's body suitable for that purpose. That is all there is to it. Seriously, how does she come up with this stuff? At any rate, it was by these hands that the maiden's corpse was conveyed into this box. Why did you knock Miko out? Did it not make everything else all the more mysterious? Although this is but a trifling matter to me. You liar! All of it was my divine punishment. You have no choice but to admit it. I might have a thing or two to say about that. The God Egg. So it was true all along? No, it's obviously just Iku putting on a crappy act. Of course I can tell that much. Now hurry and ward this divine punishment away from us. You don't gotta tell me twice. Well, it is a bit funny, so maybe I could play along a little. Alright. Took over the body of Kogasa, impaled Iku, spear on the finger. Okay. Well, you didn't do that because fingerprints. You fool. You got the power to control people's bodies, don't you? That is correct. But you don't have the power to transform people's bodies, right? What is the meaning of this prattle? It's about the spear that we've been arguing about. There was only Miko's fingerprints on there. In other words, Kogasa's hands never touched that spear. What? And that means you didn't bring down any divine punishment that way. Does your insolence know no bounds? But it's still the truth. Even a god can't ignore the truth, right? Indeed, we gods can never deny truth, for we are truth itself. However, this makes my divine punishment truth as well. But there's an actual contradiction. I merely wiped off these fingerprints. But how'd you know they would check for fingerprints? I am a god! All of your petty contrivances are already known to me. Fine, let's say you're 100 steps ahead of us mere mortals and can predict we do a fingerprint test. Even then, your claim wouldn't make any sense. And why is that? Because you're an evil god out to get revenge on all of us, right? And you wiping away those fingerprints wouldn't do anything for you. It'd only been helping Kogasa, right? What? If you had no reason to protect Kogasa, then it wouldn't make any sense to wipe down the spear. After all, the fingerprints left on there wouldn't be yours. So there never was any of Kogasa's fingerprints on this spear. Yeah. How about it, your warship? Are you ready to keep playing God? It appears the hubris of your kind has only grown during my long absence. Lowly human, making a mockery of my divine punishment. The absurdity. This god doesn't know when to quit. Perhaps prepare yourself, child. The reckoning. Certainly, the spear being the murder weapon was but a falsehood. In truth, it was a long, slender tree branch picked up by the riverbank that took my vessel's life. After the murder of Iku Nagai, the weapon was cast into the waterfall by the hands of Kogasa Tatara. By now, it must have drifted far downriver. The murder weapon was some tree branch. Indeed! Have you come some issue with this? But then, why did you lie to us just a minute ago? My acts are the acts... My acts are the acts of the divine. What? Putting mortals to the test is my prerogative as a god. She's just making up nonsense. The murder weapon was a brick. Ever been stabbed by a brick? But then why'd you lie? What a foolish question. I will no longer humor your foolishness. Are you such a fool that you would presume to have me make a will of the gods clear to foolish mortals? Truly, this is the greatest folly of mankind. Ah, crap, evil Iku's going berserk. How'd you even find something like that? It was near the expo venue, a handy branch had fallen there, and you were gonna use that as the murder weapon from the beginning. Indeed, what would I take such a thing for besides this? The problem is you conveniently finding something like that. We're both getting rid of the murder weapon. Why bother getting rid of the murder weapon? Did you feel bad for Kogasa? Not in the least. It was so you would believe Yomo Kanpaku's sword was the true murder weapon. What'll be the point of that? You must already understand the reason Yomo Kanpaku was to be my scapegoat. It was for smuggling out the body, right? But a god shouldn't care about that kind of stuff, right? You are sorely mistaken. My godly strength has greatly waned due to the impiety of you mortals. In order to bring true divine punishment, I will have to regain my mighty power of yore. And so I must be offered sacrifice in order to complete my resurrection. For that reason, I deemed the body of Iku Nagai a suitable sacrifice and decided to bring her back with me. You're kind of sounding more like a demon lord than a god there. Methinks you gotta workshop that character of yours a bit more. So you're saying everything that went down today was part of your master plan? That is correct. Well then, add that to your testimony. So be it. All has gone according to my designs, the story of my divine will set in motion. So everything that happened today was your will. Indeed, is there a problem? Then the stage collapsing, that was your handiwork too? Naturally, that altar of sin was brought low by my power, by my divine punishment. Didn't your backstory only say you had the power to control people? Whoops. Scroll wheel didn't work. Hey Marissa, this could be bad if you're really facing godly forces here. There's no way there's gonna be a rational explanation for it. No matter the era, the humans remain but pitiably self-deluded beings. Unravel my machinations as a fool's errand, mortal. I am mentally superior to you in every way. Anyway, let's try to stay calm and figure this out. For now, here's a rough sketch of the stage without the bells and whistles. So I see. Whatever kind of gimmick it was, it must have been set up around here. What are you speaking of exactly? I do remember, Suika said something about the stage being dragged down into the river, meaning the stage was pulled down from below. That's gotta be it. But then that would take someone to pull it down. Nah, someone ain't the right word. It was a something. What an amusing human you are. I shall honor you with a question then. What in heaven's name was that something that dragged down the stage? This big ass pot. Seems like this jar was the real deal after all. What might this be? They were calling this a curse jar because it's supposed to have the power to dispel curses. If anything, that name would make me think it's cursed itself. But this thing is what's gonna break your so-called curse. That's impossible. The collapse of the stage wasn't a curse or divine punishment. It was the jar that pulled down the whole thing. What nonsense are you speaking? No one could have hung this enormous jar with so many onlookers in the vicinity. Obviously, this jar was set up long before that. It was hung up under the stage last night. Why last night? Because the jar was stolen last night. Must be the culprit took it and immediately set it up under the stage. However, would the stage not have collapsed last night then? The jar's weight wasn't enough to break the stage by itself. In other words, at the time the stage broke, immediately before that, something was put in the jar. I understand. Under the strain of this increased weight, the stage collapsed. This is absurd. One way or the other, this still could not have been done unnoticed in full view of so many souls. I wonder about that. To begin with, what would you have to put in the jar to increase its weight? The answer's already in this picture. How interesting. Then do point it out to me. That which increased the weight of the jar. Its true colors. That was it. Wouldn't this be the waterfall of 9 heavens? Waterfalls form in places water falls. Hence the name. And I don't need to tell you how heavy a jug filled with water can get. I see. By pouring water from the waterfall into the jar, it would increase the weight. That's right. This was the trick to the stage's collapse. However, by what method could anyone have poured this water? If you cannot explain that, this would have been all meaningless. I've already got an answer ready for you. What? This is what you used to pour water from the waterfall into that jar. It must be this thing was set up between the jar and the waterfall. Ah, I see. Such a tube could be used to pour water into the jar. However, who can say if such a device was ever used? This thing is washed up downstream with all the other wreckage from the stage. Seems likely it was dragged into the collapse and got swept along with it. If we ask the Kappa who built the stage, then we'll know for sure if this gizmo belonged there, right? You do not know when to give up, mortal. You're one to talk. For there is a fatal flaw in your design. What is it? Behold the diagram. The falling water pushes down on this contraption, and it would tilt the wrong way. No water could flow into that jar. That's why the Shishio Doshi has some ballast attached to one end. This way the tube would tilt towards the jar. Gah! Now, I said I've got a curse of yours just about exercised. No, far from it. To begin with, according to your own claims, the timing of the stage's collapse is quite important. It's true. The whole point of this was to get us looking away from Iku's dead body. However, this method would not allow for the setting and motion of the device to be timed. Looks like it. Aha, so you finally accept the futility of your efforts. Because this diagram, it's missing something. Missing something. The last trick to fix the timing was this. This string was tied to one end of the shishiodoshi. By holding this thing taut and pulling up the beak, you could stop any water from pouring into the jar. And then it was released when the time was right. The ballast would tilt the shishiodoshi the other way, and water would start flowing. However, until that moment came, someone would have needed to hold on to the string the whole time. That's what the wedge at the other end of the string is for. You slip through this in the door of your waiting room. And once that door was open, that doorstop was released, and the whole contraption was set in motion. Ridiculous. There is no proof any of this is true. Who would have triggered this contraption in the first place? We already know the answer to that. What? Here's the person who triggered this machine. Kogasa? Tatara? Wait, why would she do such a thing? Remember what she told us about finding Iku's body? Kogasa somehow opened a door that should have been locked and got inside Iku's waiting room. I see, because the door was kept from closing shut by the doorstop. Iku, you pretended to get attacked in your room and made sure Kogasa heard you shouting. Surprised, Kogasa rushed to your room to see what had happened to you. And at that moment, the stopper was released and the machine was set in motion. And then while Kogasa got everyone to come along, we found Iku's dead body. Water pooled in that jar, and the stage collapsed under its weight. Overkill on the sound effects, but I get the point. This was the truth. Still, you cling to your convenient fantasies. Fantasies? This is all backed up by logic and evidence. I am a god! A god! Will you just cut the crap already? I'm embarrassed just looking at ya. Who the hell buy that god egg garbage? What? Your corpse was discovered by Kogasa, and that threw the expo into disarray. Just after that, the stage fell apart and everyone left the crime scene. And you took your chance to slip out of that room and hide away in Yomu's box. But at that moment, Miko caught ya. So you had to knock her unconscious. Gah. However, would the plan not have completely fallen apart then after Miko regained consciousness, since she would have witnessed Iku alive? That's why Iku tried to pass Miko off as the one who hid the body. If she looked suspicious, we'd have a harder time believing her story. So Iku took the shoes off Miko, did them in her bloodstain, and made some fake footprints for us to find. It was all to take away Miko's credibility. But as it turned out, Miko actually lost her memory of those events, though it seems Iku's plans were not inconvenienced by this one bit. Her memory loss must have been a coincidence. You can't actually bank on knocking someone out to do that. Wait, there still remains much for you to explain. Assuming what you've been saying is true, why would that plan of mine, if Iku Nagai had not been immediately carried out? Why would she have stayed her hand until it was Toyo Satomimi no Miko's turn to perform? It is true Iku could have set her scheme in motion from the moment the tournament started. No, she couldn't, because Iku planned to pin the crime on Yomu. Yomu was going to be the first to perform. If there'd been an incident then, she'd have an alibi and it'd be impossible to frame her. But afterwards, the plan could have been carried out during your turn. No, it couldn't have, because Yomu was on stage. That wouldn't work either, because I went and dragged Yomu back to the stage. Ah, of course! That would also give Yomu an alibi. Right? That's why you had to wait for the third performance, Miko's. Gah. I never would have imagined you kicking up a fuss would have caused that kind of repercussions. Who'd you think it was that put me up to this? To be foiled by something like this. Your divine powers are all made up. The stage's collapse was just another elaborate magic trick. Not to mention Kogasa and Miko never had their bodies hijacked. Everything was smoke and mirrors you set up. Yeah. Looks like this is the end. Not yet. What? Is she still gonna hold out? There is still one thing you have yet to explain. After all that, you still got more to say? Motive. No, I meant Iku Nagai's motive. You still have yet to explain this. Hey now, even if you keep this up, you'll just embarrass yourself further, you know. If you cannot prove it, then I will have you yield to me. If you're gonna insist, you just have to show your motive. The whole reason you caused this incident, it was for this. It's not even worth thinking about. You were after this egg cracking machine. It caused this whole incident so you could get your hands on it. And where is your proof of that? I'm sure you remember the scene you made at the opening ceremony. The God Egg has already cursed this tournament, but fear not. I, Iku Nagai, know of a way to avert this calamity. What's that? I beseech you, entrust the egg separator to me. I shall purify it to keep the curse of the God Egg at bay. Really? You can break the curse. But of course, therefore bring the egg separator at once. Your goal was the egg separator from the very beginning. Best case scenario, they'd hand you the machine at the opening ceremony and you'd just fly the coop with it. However, that did not come to pass. So how was Iku Nagai to obtain this machine? Here's how Iku's plan went. First, use the bucket load of fake blood. She created a murder scene in her waiting room. And then when the right opportunity came, she pretended to be getting attacked and screamed so that Kogasa'd hear her. Kogasa was surprised by the scream, rushed from the next room over to see what was going on, and opened Iku's door. And then the mechanism was set in motion. Meanwhile, Kogasa went to get help and set the venue into an uproar. And while everyone was in Iku's room, the time came. The stage collapsed, taking the egg separator with it, and everything fell in the river. The egg separator floated down and flowed down river. And right to the accomplice waiting downstream. Tenchi just had to scoop it up. Since Iku's murder was the only thing on anyone's mind, the egg separator got completely forgotten about. This was the plot the stage position over the river made possible. How about it, your godliness? I've given you all the answers you looked for. Regrettably, that alone will not be sufficient. Hey now, are you really seriously not done yet? If all was as you claimed, then Iku Nagai would have needed to know every detail of Yomu Kanpaku's magic trick ahead of time. She could not have planned to use her box otherwise. That's right, the reason she marked down Yomu in the first place must have been this box. If Yomu hadn't used the box in her magic trick, Iku would have no reason to go after her. Well, mortal? Can you explain this? Then you did know about the magic trick beforehand. And I've got the evidence to show it. By all means, do make yourself clear. Why would Iku Nagai have known about the contents of Yomu's magic box Yomu Kanpaku's magic show ahead of time? This was the reason why. There is yet another reason I must ask you to provide. What reason do you think this evidence is relevant? The reason for that is my intuition. And did you think that would convince me? Nah, please, just let me have another shot. Think it over. In order for this plan to fit together, Iku would have known all the other contestants' magic tricks would go down. And the best way to do that would be to see it for yourself. Oh, I know what it is. The contestants of this tournament have been getting a feeling of being watched by somebody lately. I think it must have been caused they were actually being spied on. Being spied on. In order to make plans for today, Iku needed to know what other performers would be doing for their magic tricks. And that's why she spied on their rehearsals. However, did Iku Nagai not tell you herself that she also felt the same gaze upon her? But when I first asked about it, Iku said she hadn't noticed anything. It was only after we talked that she realized she could work that into the God Egg story, and she told me that she'd be feeling watched after all. But really, ain't it weird that she forgets such a strange experience so easily? Gih. Now, how about it? Are you gonna keep making excuses? Excuses. You say the most amusing things. The only one making excuses here, lowly mortal, is you! What was that? So far you have found just the right junk, arrayed in just the right way, and said just the right things to make your mad theories seem plausible. Evidence! Evidence! Show evidence proving your fantasies are true and my divinity is false. You're kidding me! Why don't you go and show proof you're real then? I have said my piece already. It is no less valid than your dubious denials. Damn it, we're gonna keep going in circles at this rate. So you're gonna insist you're the God Egg, a real god who actually exists to the bitter end. Naturally. Then the whole deal with the God Egg's divine will and everything that happened with the incident, you should be able to make sense of it all. Let's end everything right here. So be it. This shall be our final battle. Now let's finish this, God Egg. My divine decree was that those who disrespect eggs be punished, and that the unholy machine which they glorified be undone. Furthermore, to ensure such a travesty never occurs again, I would take Iku Nagai as my vessel in order to rule over the world as its overlord. To that end, I took over the body of Kogasa Tatara and compelled her to murder Iku Nagai. I then destroyed the show stage with my godly powers. Afterwards, I possessed the body of Iku Nagai in order to place it in the box, but that moment was witnessed by Toyo Satomimi no Miko. So I took hold of the hindrance, erased her memory, and had her carry Iku Nagai to the box while I was at it. Double while. While. And that's it? Indeed, are you satisfied? Nope, I'm gonna be cross-examining now. Can you not see that your struggling is futile? We won't know that unless I try. Now that I'm gonna banish that evil god, no matter what it takes. Chat, you wanna hear a cool bug fact? Did you know that tengus lay eggs? The unholy machine, that's the egg separator. Indeed, that infernal device which cleaves apart the seeds of life. But to destroy it, you ended a life yourself. Ain't that a bit backwards? A single life had to be taken so that many others could be saved. Oftentimes, accomplishing great things requires great sacrifices. Well, I guess it's a good thing nobody actually had to be sacrificed this time around. Furthermore, to ensure such a travesty never occurs again, I would take... So you're gonna be ruling over us from now, huh? Do wolf tengu lay eggs too? I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. But at least one type of tengu does lay eggs. It's probably the birds. Such is a mission. But do you really think the people against Soki are gonna bow down to your tyranny? Your hopes and wishes are meaningless. In the face of my full power, you will have no choice but to obey. Some domineering god she is. Wait a sec, if you wanted to pin the crime on Yomu, why don't you make her do the deed in the first place? Certainly that would have been most expedient. However, I found that I was unable to control her. Perhaps it is due to her nature as a half-phantom. Well now, this god's not so almighty after all. Even gods have their strengths and weaknesses. I didn't say nothing. Whoa. Didn't I explain the whole trick a minute ago? I will not acknowledge that chicanery of yours. It was undeniably my divine powers at work. That's just dumb. But getting into that won't solve anything. Afterwards, I possessed the body of Iku Nagai in order to place it in the box, but that moment was witnessed by Toyo Satomimi no Miko. The tengu's egg, the tengu's egg is massive. Since this egg separator is made for chicken eggs because it's an outside world device, and the only eggs they have for that would use that is chicken eggs. By the way, what'd you pick Iku's body for? Wouldn't anybody else have worked too? Iku Nagai, with her esteemed position, unimpeachable character, and stunning beauty, was the most suitable to act as my vessel. And this was why I selected her. You sure can come up with all the reasons you like on that one, huh? Wait, you erased Miko's memories. Is there a problem? Come on now, since when could you do something like that? You can't just keep giving yourself new powers whenever you need them. That ain't fair. You may say whatever you please. The fact remains she lost her memory. Still, ain't that a little weird? What is it? First off, let me make sure. The murder weapon that killed Iku was some tree branch you picked up somewhere around here. That is correct. But then why is there blood on Miko's spear? You weren't planning to frame Miko originally, right? It was because she knew my secret, to ensure she would not be believed. Wait a minute, didn't you erase her memories? That explanation's getting awfully muddled, oh great god Iku Nagai. It's God Egg! Yes, I had hoped to keep this a secret. That spear is bloody because Toyo Satomimi no Miko attacked me. She must have been horrified to see the body of one who should have been dead suddenly come to life. And on the spur of the moment, she stabbed me with the spear she had in her hand. But it doesn't look like any other holes on ya. By sheer chance, the fool pierced me the very same spot his body was once impaled. And thus there was only ever one wound. Still, if you can walk around yourself, why make Miko move the body? Did she not heedlessly damage my precious sacrificial vessel? I thought to take a bit of revenge on that unjumped charlatan. Some petty god she is. Anyway, the truth is you were attacked by Miko back then. Indubitably. Then add that part to your testimony. Very well. I love Iku. You were attacked by Miko. Indeed, I remember her demonic grimace. That's one hell of a mental image. In any case, I could not overlook her trespass. So you use Miko's body to move the corpse. That is correct. But does that all make sense? Marissa, do we have any chance of winning this battle? It's all a trick, so we've got a chance. But if it wasn't a trick, if it turns out like that, pinch me because I'm dreaming. Marissa, you come off rather flaky from time to time. I don't want to hear that from you. Carried a box while I was at it. When she found me in the room, horrified, towards me and Miko attacked me with her spear for that reason she suffered my reprisal. That ain't just strange. It's impossible. What on earth are you saying? The problem here is Miko's bloody spear. Before coming to Iku's waiting room, Miko was performing her magic trick on stage. Back then, that second spear had already disappeared. And that means she couldn't have stabbed you with it. What? Miko never attacked you. That spear is trumped evidence you made up. Wrong. It must be. That's it. I was stabbed with the spear that was shown on stage. In which case, there would no longer be any problem. It's too bad, but there's a big problem. Why? I have proof. That bloody spear couldn't be the one you saw Miko use in her magic trick. It's because of the spears themselves. What is this? Check out Miko's other spear that we found downriver. The problem is the blade's shape. As it turns out, the two spears have different shaped blades. The spear we saw Miko use on stage was a sword-shaped spear. But the bloody spear found in her waiting room had a triangle point. It's obviously not the same. This can't be! In other words, Miko never stabbed you with any spear. You stole that second spear and covered it in blood to frame her. I did not. And besides, a cruel, vengeful god out to punish us wouldn't settle for something just half-assed as erasing Miko's memories. If you really were out to take revenge on all of us yokai and humans, you would have just killed her then and there. Am I wrong, Iku Nagai? No! Fare thee well, God Egg. Blasted. I'm sorry. Iku. Why would you do something like this? I told her she had to get that egg separated no matter what. But I have no talent at all for magic tricks. There was no chance I would win the tournament. So you went through this elaborate nonsense for that? Forgive me, I could see no other option. But why did you want this machine so bad? The other day I received a letter. It was demanding the egg separator from the magic tournament, complete with a whole plan to steal it. However, there was no need for you to go along with this. Of course not, but there was more written in the letter. If I got the egg separator, all of my outstanding bail would be paid off. That hits a little too close to home. For the sake of the young heiress's bail money, we had no choice but to obtain that egg separator. But from what are you saying, it sounds as though you weren't the ones who orchestrated this plan. Yes, do you truly think I could come up with this on my own? I cannot even do magic tricks. Oh, hell no, we're not doing this again. Those two are the culprits, and that's all there is to it. Oh, but the incident can't be said to have been resolved yet, can it? There is still a hidden puppet master behind all this. That much is clear. What do you mean? Marissa, you must have realized it by now. There remain two fatal flaws in your reasoning. What? And they revolve around one single piece of evidence. So in the evidence, there's still contradictions left over. How about it, have you noticed? The remaining contradictions and the evidence that reveals them. I don't know, the magic trick? Is this it? It's not. She brushed it off like that was nothing. If you hadn't noticed, that's fine. I might be the one overthinking it. No, please give me another shot. I'll ask you again then. Remaining contradictions. The egg separator. Is this it? It's not. Uh-oh. Is this it? It is. There's remained two contradictions involving the spear. Yeah, I knew it. Why did I notice it earlier, though? What two contradictions are those? First, that even though there should be evidence Iku tampered with, she left none of her fingerprints on it. And second, that Iku tried to frame Miko cause she witnessed because she witnessed her alive after the stage collapsed. But Miko lost that spear before she even came on stage. And this means what exactly? Over the course of this incident, Iku had no intention of framing Miko. So someone other than her tampered with Miko's things. Isn't that right, Iku? Yes, you are right. Pinning the crime on her was never part of the plan. So in other words, Miko is being targeted by someone else? But that would be strange. Who would want to frame Miko and why? To begin with, would pinning the crime on Miko even be possible? What are you saying? It's a bit too much to swallow, along with conveniently suffering memory loss from being attacked by Iku. If it weren't for Miko's amnesia, the case would have been solved once Marissa found her. So, Miko, did you think you could hide it from us? The truth? Is it true, Miko? Good grief. While everyone was running around trying to solve the case, you were the only one to stay out of sight and out of mind. Then you appeared and guided Marissa to the truth with just the right advice. But from the beginning, you were having Marissa lead the charge on the investigation while you chased after me behind the scenes. The mastermind behind everything seemed to be quite cunning, if I acted openly, and you were bound to sense the danger. But dolls aren't the only thing I can puppet. Well, if you were the one pulling Iku's strings, that would make us birds of a feather. Wait a sec, does that mean you were using me the whole time? I'm so sorry, Marissa. Actually, before this tournament even began, the Kappa had to deal with many attempts to steal the egg separator. So they requested my services as a detective in order to find the one who was after this machine. Did you say detective? You can't make ends meet with just magic shows in this economy. Private investigator is one of my many gigs. Anyway, after I received the Kappa's request, we came up with a plan to alert the culprit by making the egg separator into a prize. And now the true mastermind has been revealed. But if it was Miko, then why? Why would she deliberately place herself under all suspicion? What did I say? Our mastermind this time is a cunning manipulator. So she was daring enough to cast suspicion on herself, confident that someone else would refute it. She even played the part of the distressed damsel, even though she's hardly suited for it. Nobody should have suspected her being the culprit after that. But what if no one figured out she couldn't be the killer? In that case, she would only have to stop playing the amnesiac and then tell us the truth. But if Iku were apprehended, the fact that someone else was pulling her strings could come to light, so that would be Miko's last resort. That's what you call playing with fire. You usually wouldn't think to do something like that, would you? This was the kind of psychological trap Miko laid. Holy shit, my brain is imploded. Good grief, I'll say it again, credit is to be given where credit is due. So the mastermind strong-armed Tenshi, it really was you? Yes, there's no point in denying it anymore. But why go so far for this egg separator? I heard it was quite the unusual device. It's some sort of pump. Since the Kappa so staunchly protected it, I presumed it must be tremendously valuable. So in the end, this was all about money. Yes, with my powers gone, I am no different from an ordinary human. And of course, I no longer have any power to gather faith. In today's Gensokyo, the people place their faith in only one thing. Surely you understand what I speak of. I'm guessing you mean money. Indeed, under the court system in Gensokyo bound by the rule of law, the power of money trumps all others. Most crimes are glossed over, minding the pain of fines or bail. And if the police make a mistake arrest, monetary reparations make it all water under the bridge. In this land there remains no gods, no saints, no Buddhas. The creed that rules over New Gensokyo is that of money. Damn. It appears everything's taken care of now. Whoa, wait a minute. What about paying off my bail? Well, we don't need to worry about that anymore. What's that supposed to mean? Today's events were interesting enough. I don't really need the egg separator anymore. Our agreement was that if you won the tourney, I would pay your bail. And you accomplished no such thing, so I don't have to pay anything, do I? You can't do this to me. Even so, something good for you might still come out of this mess. Eh? What's that mean? You made great contributions to the investigation, and the police have also recognized it. So then my bail? Yes, they've agreed to cut it by half. Why half? Couldn't they just write the whole thing off? You are a repeat offender, after all. Boo. Well, this is the chance for you to learn the value of honest work. I don't want to live in this kind of Gensokyo anymore. And that was case closed. Expanding the court system was supposed to make everybody equal, but it didn't really work out in practice. Before long, lots of other people started longing for the old Gensokyo, so we threw it all out and went back to the way things used to be. I guess we're just the kind of people who are better off solving their differences by flying around, shooting bullets and lasers after all. In the end, maybe the purpose of the court system was to make us realize that all along. Happy end. Happy end. Staff credits. Well, that was a case. That was a great case, because it was very everywhere, you know, but not everywhere not everywhere in a bad way. But there was just, you know, there was so much happening in it. That was a good case. That was a good bonus case. And then happy ending. The Great Rabbit Obama. Okay. Alright. I liked it because at the end of the case, Marissa actually did accomplish. Marissa accomplished what she had set out to do at the start, right? She proved how Yomu's trick worked, and that actually played an important role in the overall grand scheme of things. But she also ended up having to prove Miko's trick. And then at the end, she had to prove Iku's trick. God damn. Miko, Iku. However, Kogasa didn't have a trick. Kogasa didn't have a trick. We didn't get to see her trick. Everybody else, though, revealed. Alright. So that's the special case. So there's another one in here, though. The Mirage Snare. The Golden Temple is holding a summer festival. A work of art to be exhibited. It was destroyed. Unzan has been accused of the crime, but there's no prosecutor to handle the case. Go on, trials. Fight on, Aya Shimemaru. This is like case 1 length. So like, wait. So it's 1 court day? How long is it? How long is it? Can I do it now? Can I do it now? If I can do it now, I could just about a third of the main episode. So about an hour and a half. Okay, yeah, I can do it. Oh, I got an idea, chat. The quit button doesn't work. Oh, that's why. 1 stream. Let's do it. Let's do it, chat. But I'm gonna end the recording here, and then I'm gonna make a new recording, so it's not all in 1 episode. So yeah, recording is gonna die now, and then we're gonna start a new one, and we're gonna do the next case, if it's that short. Ready? Here we go.